Alrighty, it is time once again to talk about yet again another horror film, and this one I decided to watch or to pick today is one that I don't really hear a lot of people talk about, and it kind of went under my radar for a long time. I almost bought it several times just because of the cast, but I didn't. And then one day I just kind of pulled the trigger on it, and I was like, damn, that was a pretty damn good movie. So, having said that, if you find it, definitely pick it up, if you can find it for a good price. But that is 1982's Alone in the Dark. So this is the Image release, I guess you'll say. It's the special edition. It's got some pretty decent special features on it. I'll just kind of show you. Yeah, it's got quite a few special features. And this movie, like I said, I almost picked it up several times just because of the cast. Because as you can see right there and right there, Donald Pleasence is in it. And I'm a big Donald Pleasence fan for, of course, because of Halloween. That's where my love of Donald Pleasence started. But, excuse me, alongside Donald Pleasence, we also get Jack Palance and Martin Landau and Dwight Schultz. So, there's a really good cast in this movie. And this movie was written and directed by Jack Sholder, it's, like I said, I didn't really know anything about it. I think I heard about it years ago on Cool Duder's channel, Sean C. Phillips. I think I heard him mention it once or twice, and it just kind of really, like I said, just kind of went under my radar for a long time. And so it's basically about a guy who is going. He's going to start working at this insane asylum or this mental hospital or whatever you want to call it, and it's run by Donald Pleasence, and he kind of has a sort of a loose kind of way of dealing with his patients, in the fact that he gives them a lot of trust, there's not a lot of locked doors, and he kind of lets them free roam, even some of the more dangerous ones, and he just has faith in them that they're going to reform and that they're decent people. And we end up seeing this there's this one group of them, and there's four of them, and they all have their little quirks and stuff, which I also find really interesting because they're all very unique characters. And basically the power of this asylum, or at this asylum, goes out, and all the security is controlled electronically. And so the hospital, it can't go on lockdown. That's kind of a sort of they don't really have a fail-safe for it, so that's kind of a flaw with the system. And so they all end up, all the patients, they end up just running mad and going crazy. And so a small group of these people, they have essentially go back to this house. I don't remember whose house it is off the top of my head. Of course, there's a lot of other people in this movie, but they end up going to this house, and they're trying to kind of ride out the blackout. And then, of course, this group of four, they end up finding them and terrorizing them throughout the evening. So. And we get some really creepy shots. A lot of the whole house, is super eerie. We get a really good twist, in this movie. I really like the characters. Of course, they're all four of the patients. They're very different. The one off the top of my head, of course, Jack Palance and Martin Landau. I believe they are both, in this little, and they're just phenomenal. And I remember one of the killers, he's kind of your stereotypical slasher, and he kind of he tries to hide his face, and he's wearing this creepy kind of hockey mask, and they're just going out and kind of wreaking havoc on this town, during this blackout. And it's just such an awesome premise. I really like it. Of course, the trap, the being trapped in the house is a lot of fun. I really like that kind of what do you want to call it, plot device, I guess, if you will. And it's acted so well. The acting in this movie is probably the best thing about it. The acting is so damn good. And of course, coming off of all all of the great actors that are in this. Of course, that's why. It really kind of reminds me, even though it's not, it's not the same thing at all, but it really kind of reminds me of Assault on Precinct 13 a little bit, which I really enjoy that. And even though that's not necessarily a horror movie, I'll probably talk about that one day, because I'm a big fan of the original Assault on Precinct 13. Sorry if I say it too fast. Sometimes I fuck it up, but it's kind of that similar premise in a way. And this movie, honestly, to me, a little bit, how I describe it, and this is kind of, I guess, kind of shitty towards the director, Jack Sholder, because he does a great job. But this is the most John Carpenter, non-John Carpenter film. Like, to me, if I were to sit down and watch it, and maybe that's just because of Donald Pleasance, I don't know, but it really it feels like a John Carpenter film a little bit to me. I don't know why. I don't know if anybody else really feels that way if they've seen it, but I feel that way. I definitely think that's kind of the vibe I get from this. And like I said, that maybe that's that's kind of harsh towards Jack Sholder, but that was just kind of the feeling I got. And a few of the other movies that Jack Sholder did, he did Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, which we're going to talk about those one day, and he did Wishmaster 2. And those are the only two that I really know, really off the top of my head. But this movie actually, it kind of, I don't want to say it failed necessarily. I mean, I guess it did, because it was shot on $1 million budget, but it only grossed, a little over $1 million. So, of course, that kind of, I guess, shits on it. But I think it picked back up, in on home media. And I definitely, like I said, it definitely flew under my radar. I had never really seen this up until, honestly, the last couple of years. And I'd heard about it. I remember seeing this exact copy of this DVD, in a store one day, and I almost bought it just because of the cast, alone. And but I didn't. I ended up, I didn't do it, and I really wished I would have at the time, because whenever I bought this one, it was a little price. I mean, I got this one fairly cheap, but it definitely was cheaper whenever I had seen it way back when, 10 or so years ago. But so if you can find this, I think that Scream Factory has a Blu-ray of it, but I think it's out of print, and I think this one is actually out of print. So that, of course, is why it's so pricey. But if you find this, for a decent price, or if you don't mind paying $30 or so for it, absolutely pick this one up. This is one that I think that every horror film should have in their collection. It's got great music. It's a very atmospheric, really spooky kind of movie with an excellent cast. I cannot stress that enough. I think that that's the main thing that this movie has going for it, is it's just got such a strong cast and such a strong story and setting. And I think they remade this. That's probably been almost 20 years ago now. I think it came out in like 2005. But it's nothing like this, from what I understand. I think it just shares the title, but I don't even really think it's a remake. I just think that there's another film called Alone in the Dark, and I guess that's a very kind of stereotypical title, but highly recommend this. It's a fairly quick watch. I think it's only like, how long is it? Like 93 minutes. Oh yeah, it's right on the money. 93 minutes. So it's not super long. It's not going to take up excuse me. It's not going to take up much of your time. So I don't I don't see why you wouldn't check it out. But anyway, so absolutely check this one out. I don't really know of anywhere that you can watch it. That's what I was looking real quick. I don't know. I really don't know anywhere that you can watch it. Off the top of my head. So and I was looking on there. It's not on Tubi. I get from what I can see. But if you, like I said before, if you can find the DVD of this, absolutely pick it up. Highly recommend it. I'd like to get the Shout Factory release of this. I think it was Shout Factory, or Scream Factory, I should say. I think that I wanted to get that release, but it was kind of pricey, and we kind of po over here, so but that's okay. I've had a lot of these for several years, so Anyway, absolutely check this one out. I think I'm going to rate this one, let's see here. I'm going to rate it, I'll give it a 4 out of 5 because I really, really enjoy it. Great movie, a lot of fun. If you've never seen it, it's a good one to kind of throw on late at night, if you're home alone or, alone in the dark, if you will. It just has a really kind of spooky kind of vibe to it. I honestly wouldn't mind seeing a remake to this if it was done right, because I'm not totally against remakes necessarily. But if it's done well, if it's done correctly, I don't mind a good remake. And this one, like I said, is one that I just feel like a lot of people aren't really familiar with. But if you haven't seen it, again, like I said, check it out. I cannot recommend it enough. Love this movie very much. And so yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review, and stay tuned until the next one. Goodbye.